Hello and thank you for joining me. I'm Lauren and today I will guide you through the Sun Salutation B sequence. If you're yet to do so, please watch the videos where we go through the classic and A variations, as this class will build upon what you've learnt. Sun Salutation B is a mashup of both the classic and A variations, but with some extra fun thrown in. Like the other variations, Sun Sal B is an awesome way to start the day as it warms up your whole body and encourages connection to the breath. Let's meet in extended child's pose by bringing the knees nice and wide, the hips reaching to the heels, and the arms coming out, fingertips extending in front of you. And once you've settled, blinking the eyes shut, bring your attention to the breath. Noticing the inhale, the exhale, and the pauses in between. Begin to deepen the breath by filling the belly and the chest. Finding a slow, relaxed rhythm. Returning back to your natural breath. When you're ready, blinking the eyes open. Use your hands to come up to a kneeling position. Tuck the chin to the chest and begin to roll your head to one side, up and around, over to the other, then back down. Doing this movement a few more times. Then after your next exhale, changing the direction. Once you've completed your next round, bringing the head back to a neutral position. Bring the arms out wide. And as you exhale, give yourself a nice big hug by crossing the right arm over the left. Hands coming onto the shoulders or the back, chin tucking into the chest, and finding some rounding through the spine. Inhale, arms releasing, coming back out wide, chest reaching forward and the gaze up. Exhale, coming back to our hug, this time with the left arm over top. Inhale, reach the arms nice and wide. And exhale, coming back to a neutral position. Bring the hands onto the mat in front of you into tabletop. Using the breath to guide your movement, we'll go through a few rounds of cat-cow. So you inhale, tailbone reaches to the sky, belly drops towards the mat, chest reaching forward, gaze slightly up. Exhale, tuck the tailbone under, press into the hands, round through the spine, back of the heart reaching up to the sky, chin tucked towards the chest. Inhale, forward into cow. And exhale, pushing up into cat. Completing one more round with the timing of your own breath. And coming back to our neutral tabletop. Thinking about downward facing dog, tuck the toes, bring the hands a little further forward, lift the knees, hips reaching up and back, keeping the knees nice and bent in your first downward dog, perhaps pedaling out the feet. And slowly walking the feet to meet the hands at the top of the mat, coming into a forward fold. And on your next inhale, pressing the feet firmly into the mat and very slowly rolling up to a standing position. Bringing your hands in front of your heart as we begin our first round of Sun Salutation B. On our inhale, we come into chair pose, so reaching the arms up and slightly in front of you, bending through the knees and sinking your hips nice and low. Checking that you have an even distribution of weight on each foot, and the weight is shifted more towards the heel of the foot. Maintaining length in the spine and tucking the belly button in towards the spine. Exhale, coming down into a forward fold. The legs are straightened here, but of course keeping a bend in the knee, especially if your hamstrings are really tight like me. Inhale, find a halfway lift, bringing the fingertips to the floor or the hands to the shin or the thighs, whatever you need to do to achieve that flat back position. Wherever you are, reaching the crown of the head forward, creating some extra length in the spine. Exhale, plant the palms onto the mat and step back into plank with the knees up or down. Only doing the knees up variation if you've had your Chaturanga checked by a yoga teacher. Bending the elbows, coming down halfway. Thinking about upward facing dog, untuck the toes, slide the feet back, straightening the arms, reaching the chest forward. Legs are really strong here and the tops of your feet are pressing firmly into the mat. And as you exhale, tuck the toes, lift the hips, coming into downward facing dog. Inhale, step the right foot between the hands and rising all the way up to Warrior One. The back foot is on a 45-degree angle, so pointing towards the front corner of your mat maybe a little wider, just seeing what feels good for you. Arms are reaching up to the sky. Your hips are square towards the front of the room. Just checking that the front knee is stacked over the front ankle to help find stability in your warrior one. Press into the outside edges of both of your feet, keeping your legs nice and active here. Your gaze can be forward or looking up to the hands, completely up to you. On your next exhale, bring the hands back to frame that front foot. Step the right foot back, coming into plank with either the knees up or down. Move through your chaturanga. Inhale brings you into your upward facing dog. Legs strong here, spine long. Exhale, tuck the toes and push back to your downward facing dog. As you inhale, step the left foot between the hands, rising up to warrior one on the left side. That right foot is on a 45-degree angle here, and you're pressing firmly down into both of the outside edges of the feet. The arms are reaching up above your head. The palms can be shoulder width apart, or maybe they come together in a high prayer. To find some extra strength and stability here, engaging the pelvic floor muscles, and the belly button scoops up and in towards the spine. On your next exhale, floating the arms back down to the mat, step back into plank, knees up or down. Moving through chaturanga. Inhale, coming onto the tops of the feet into upward facing dog, knees and hips lifted. Exhale, tuck the toes, pushing back to downward facing dog. Staying here for 5 deep breaths. On your next inhale, step forward to the top of your mat, finding a halfway lift onto your fingertips or hands resting on the shin or thighs. Exhale to fold forward. Inhale, rising up into chair, hands reaching forward, hips reaching back and down. Tucking the ribs in here to prevent any flaring, keeping that core nice and strong. As you exhale, straightening through the legs, coming back to Pranamasana. I invite you to join me in one more round of Sun Salutation B, allowing the breath to guide your movement. Inhale, arms reaching forward into chair pose. Exhale into your forward fold, draping the upper body over the legs and straightening through the knees. Inhale, halfway lift, crown of the head reaching forward. Exhale, plant the palms, step back to plank, knees up or down, lowering down to Chaturanga. Inhale to upward facing dog by untucking the toes, sliding the feet back and straightening the arms. Exhale, tuck the toes, pushing back to downward facing dog. Inhale, step the right foot between the hands, rising up to warrior one. Back foot is on that 45-degree angle and arms reaching up to the sky. Exhale, hands come back to the mat, stepping the right foot back, moving through your Chaturanga. Inhale, tops of the feet onto the mat, finding upward facing dog. Legs are strong to support you here. Exhale, tuck the toes, pushing back to downward facing dog. Inhale, step the left foot forward between the hands, rising up to warrior one on the left side. Hips are square to the front of the room and your core is nice and strong. Exhale, hands find the mat, stepping back to plank, moving through Chaturanga. Inhale to upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Taking 5 deep breaths here. Inhale, step both feet to the front of the mat into a halfway lift with the back flat. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, arms reaching up, hips sinking, chair pose. Exhale, rising up, Namaste. Making our way down to child's pose. Bring the hands onto the mat, step the feet back, knees out wide or close together, completely up to you. Your arms are out in front or perhaps by your side, just whatever feels good in your body right now. Allowing it to rest after such a vigorous practice. Please stay here for as long as feels good, maybe even transitioning to any other resting poses. If you enjoyed today's class, I recommend trying the happy hamstring sequence. Please keep an eye out for the moon salutation class that is coming to you in a couple of days. It's a lovely cooling practice to complement these sun salutations. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you so much for joining me. Namaste.